morning everybody, my name is Nicola and I am simply a stitcher. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you are new around here, it's great to have you. If you're a returning viewer, thank you very much indeed for coming back and spending some time with me today. So today we are resuming regular programming now after the festive season, and today's a stitch with me. It's the first stitch with me of 2023. And for the last few days I've been working on my 10 projects, 500 full coverage stitches a day, plus one of my 10 projects that I intend on completing in 2023. This has been my full coverage choice for the last few days because it has been a little bit neglected in December, and this is Marta Dahlig's Envy, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. And I am currently 15.82% into this one, so I figured let's just have a bit of stitchy time this morning and see how far along we can get. Let's tighten that up again. That's it. Okay, so I hope you've all had lovely Christmases, and we'll have a little chat as we go along, eh? And see how we're all doing. So I want to wish everybody again a happy new year. I did so with my whip parade, which I managed to release yesterday. I was intending to do it last week, but the weather here was so dull and dire and awful. No matter how much daylight sort of lighting I threw at it, it just looked, the videos just, it wasn't happening. It wasn't bright enough. So I chose to wait until I got a day that was good enough to do it. My intention was to film it Thursday. Thursday it was dull, Friday it was dull, and Saturday and Sunday, being New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, I did have visitors, and yesterday was the first chance that I got. I hope you've had a chance to look at it. If not, it'll probably be on the end card of this video, so you can go and have a look at my finishes for 2022 and my 2022 whips, which I am taking into 2023. Nothing left behind. So yeah. So the last time I did a chatty stitch with me would have been, well, let me have a look. It was just before Christmas, the 20th of December. So let me fill you in on what happened after Christmas, around Christmas. Because I tell you what, it was certainly a full Christmas. So I worked up until Friday. As you know, my working hours are sort of Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. And I'm fortunate because the firm that I work for are very good around Christmas, and if they're able to let you finish early, they will do that. So on the Friday I was due to finish at 5, but actually I finished at just after 2, which was absolutely fantastic. And meant that I could sort of start the festive season a touch early, which of course I did. So on the Friday we had some sort of family time, bit of a family sort of dinner, as it were, before all the festivities started up. So Saturday was Christmas Eve. Don't think we went anywhere Christmas Eve. I'm pretty sure I didn't go anywhere. But what we did do was like do, the prep for Christmas Day, made sure that the meat was out the freezer and so on and so forth, and getting things ready because obviously we had visitors, and playing our annual game of whose is this, get rid of it. This is something that's a bit of a tradition in this house. I have a very long kitchen table. It will seat 8 comfortably. It could seat 10 at a pinch. It's one of those. And because it's so long and we only sort of use 2/3 of it, 3/4 of it, the far end, where I sit for work, tends to get used as a bit of a dumping ground. So we play this game of whose is it, get rid of it. So me, Andy, and the 3 girls will all go into the kitchen. I'll be the one at the end of the table, and I'll hold something up and say, whose is this? Somebody will lay claim to it, and I'll be like, yep, get rid of it. I don't want it on this table. Because obviously when I'm seating 8 for Christmas Day, I need the whole table. So we did that. And did a bit of a clean and things, and sort of got things ready for Christmas, which was very, which was decent, And then on Christmas Eve, our tradition is to have Chinese food. So Andy and the girls walked up to get that. Unfortunately, our local Chinese restaurant will only take cash or orders via online, but every cash machine in the vicinity wasn't flimming working, so that was a bit of a nightmare. So they actually came home empty-handed and then had to order online and have it delivered, which is not really ideal. It's not what we wanted, because the last thing that you want to do on such as Christmas is to put pressure on people to deliver food. We don't like doing it, hence why we woke up, because everybody's doing the same thing. Anyway, so girls went to bed Christmas Eve, and then obviously Christmas Day they got up and had their gifts, and they were very pleased with what I got them. We've got things like hair straighteners, a Polaroid camera, crimpers, a whole heap of stuff from the clothes, and obviously they had things like new pajamas, chocolate money, chocolate coins, colouring books, loads of stuff that I get them every Christmas. It used to be like kiddie colouring books, now it's the adults colouring books kind of thing, and and Andy's children had something very similar as well. So I did well for presents. I got a new coat, which, to be fair, is needed. So my girls got me a new coat, and I got like loads of like smelly stuff and a few other bits and bobs, which were very much appreciated. And Andy bought me some lovely jewellery, a necklace and earrings. The girls also bought me jewellery. So yeah, I did quite well. Andy's parents gave me some money, and of course you'll have seen on my floss tube, the last one of 2022, which featured Andy, that they also bought me a kit. So yeah, my mum-in-law definitely knows me so much better than the last one. So there we go. Andy was very pleased with his gift. I bought him a special sort of present. I'm not going to sort of say what it is, because I know he's going to talk about it in a video at the weekend, which will be published on his channel at the weekend. And I know some viewers of this channel view his channel, and I don't want to spoil that. So, but needless to say, he was very pleased. Um, yeah, it's been it's been it was a lovely sort of time. We didn't spend an awful lot on Christmas. What I kind of specialised in, certainly where the girls were concerned, was getting what they wanted. But anyway. Ooh. We then started our food Christmas, and we have on Christmas morning we have smoked salmon and scrambled egg for breakfast, which we had with Bucks Fizz, of course, because why not? It's Christmas. And then guests started to arrive. So the first one to arrive was my stepdad. He came to a huge pile of gifts as well, and sat here and opened those. And we had. Then I was starting to cook as well. I've done that wrong. I've just copied what. Oh dear. Just a second. I was talking that. That's it. So yeah, so I was starting to cook at this point, because obviously I was cooking for 8 on Christmas Day. And Andy's parents, of course, then arrived, and we had another sort of present opening sesh. Excuse me. And then I served lunch, Christmas Day lunch, for about sort of 1:30. So I had meat and vegetables and Yorkshire puddings and stuffing and pigs in blankets and so on and so forth. We had a nice cheesecake or Christmas pudding for afterwards. And then I always have a game at Christmas, a new family game. And this year was no exception. It was a game called Exploding Kittens. So we all sort of had a couple of hours playing that after lunch, which was lovely, which actually meant we were sat at the kitchen table until about 5 o'clock. But it was really good. We had such a nice time, and we had a lot of laughs, and Carol and Trev, my in-laws, proper got in on playing the game with us, and and then Christmas night, Hannah went to stay with the granddad, so he wasn't on his own. And Victoria and Lauren were here, and Carol and Trev went home themselves. And then me and Andy just kind of flopped, full of cheese and chocolate, as you do at Christmas. So, yeah, it was lovely. It was a really nice day. In fact, I'd probably go so far as to say it's one of the nicest Christmases I've ever had. So then Boxing Day comes around, and back comes Hannah with her granddad for lunch, which was like sort of cold meat and pickles and cheese and some one or two hot sort of bits and bobs, but mainly sort of like a cold buffet for Boxing Day lunch. And then we went to the pantomime. It's something we've never done, but we went to the pantomime at the local theatre, and it was just absolutely fantastic. We laughed so much. It's ridiculous how funny it was. The girls thoroughly enjoyed it, you know, and we did all the sort of the usual theatre things, you know, got there, had a ice cream in the interval and that kind of thing, and you know, yeah, you know, it was just lovely. The girl, I can't speak. The girls thoroughly enjoyed it, and I have to say, so did me and Andy. It really was a good, um, a good way to spend a Boxing Day evening. So after that, the Tuesday, because Boxing Day was the Monday, and the Tuesday it was a bank holiday, so no work for me. Yippee! We like no work. So Tuesday I just sat and stitched. You know, obviously I filmed my video, the floss tube with Andy, but I mainly sat and stitched. And I had a lovely, pleasant, sort of gentle day without much going on, because on the Wednesday, sadly, I was back at work. I have to say though, it was unbusy. I'm a call handler and usually handle, you know, anything up to sort of 40 calls a day. And the Wednesday, the Thursday and the Friday, the 3 days that I was back, I actually handled 7 calls. The rest of the time I was doing some queue work because there was literally nothing to do. So it was a nice change. And because obviously I'd had the early finish on the week before, I was there until sort of 5 o'clock on Friday evening. But then after that, I was off then for the New Year. So we had the Saturday, New Year's Eve, the Sunday, New Year's Day, and the Monday, yesterday, the bank holiday Monday off. Because, you know, that's, yeah, the 2nd, so today's the 3rd. So Friday evening, Andy's children came to join us for New Year. And we'd bought them gift vouchers at Christmas among their presents. And we'd also got gifts from Andy's parents here to open, which was also some more money. Which meant that on New Year's Eve, they could go shopping and get something in the sales, which they did. And they thoroughly enjoyed that. And then here at New Year, in terms of cooking, it's not like Christmas Day at all. I do things very simply at New Year, and I have 2 buffets, one on New Year's Eve, one on New Year's Day. So New Year's Eve will have sort of party food on it. You know, like the like the miniature this and the miniature that you can get, and you know, like we had like spring rolls and king prawns and stuff like that. And then New Year's Day is a bit more sort of a hearty buffet. So New Year's Eve we saw in the New Year, and then New Year's Day we had another buffet when my stepdad came round again. Since we lost my mum, he spent most of his Christmas and New Year with us. So let's park that one actually. So yeah, so his presence was was felt around, you know, the Christmas Day, Boxing Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. He has an open invitation to come here at Christmas, and he really enjoyed himself. Then the children went back home on the Sunday, and then we had yesterday. It's just a sort of a chill out, relaxed day, because today everything is back to normal. I'm back at work, Andy's back at work, and also filming Village Idiot. Lauren is back at school, Hannah is back at the kennels. The house is lovely and quiet. At this time in the morning, it's not even 8 o'clock yet. So, yeah. Did have a wee bit of drama. Andy went to work last week, because obviously he was working as well the same days as I was. He went to work last week and he took the car off the drive on a Thursday, and I'm like, what on earth is that noise? There was just this racket. So I can describe it as a racket. So he's like, yeah, I'm taking the car to the garage. Turns out that the alternator had gone, and it not only gone, it had got a massive crack in it. Quite how he'd done that, he doesn't know, and neither does the dude at the garage. But anyway, so we got that replaced. But then the car was still playing up, and we were like, really don't need to be buying a new car at New Year. But anyway, it turns out that it was one of these, the car is one of these more modern cars that has to be plugged into a computer to find out what's wrong with it. And it turned out that the ECU unit hadn't been cleared of the faults. So he ended up taking it sort of back up on New Year's Eve, and it seems to be behaving now. So fingers crossed that solved the problem. But oh my goodness, you know, how on earth he's managed to crack the alternator, who knows? Who knows? At least it's all done now. I still suspect that at some point early this year we will be having a new mode of transportation, because I don't think he's very happy with the car generally, but there we go. Get rid of that. But anyway, it's all done now, so hopefully we should be okay. We're just praying to the god of car mechanics, because we don't want any more mechanical problems. So there we go. So that was my Christmas and New Year. And now, of course, we are into New Year stitching. My 10 projects, 10 months, with June and December without a new project as finishing months is underway. My first project I will now reveal on here is the heliotrope fairy. It's a flower fairy design, the one in the pack of 2, the Cecily May Barker piece, and I'm a good way through. I'd say I'm about 1/6 of the way through, so it's coming on quite well, because I've obviously been able to get stuck in the last couple of days. It's been great. I was going to use it for this today, but because I'm working off a paper pattern, it requires a heck of a lot more thinking. And I didn't want to put myself into sort of doing it on a paper pattern and get it wrong. So I decided to not put it out for this. Later this week I am doing an Afromov, the Leonid Afromov piece, for my alternative Stitch With Me. I honestly don't know if the Flower Fairy will make an appearance because it's not a long stitch. But, you know, when I do finish it, of course, you'll get to see it in all its glory. Unless I do another Stitch With Me and hold it for next week. YouTube have unmonetized my channel temporarily, which is disappointing, but I'm waiting for my updated ID to come through the post for AdSense before I can, you know, continue to earn money from YouTube, which is a bit of a pain in the bum, but hell, I'm still going to get content out there because I know that you guys appreciate it. So it is annoying, but what can I do? Not a lot. It seems like Andy was a popular addition. The last sort of couple of videos I've done, lots of lovely comments. Although in editing with my whip parade, he forgot to flip the image. So when I say left, it's actually on your right because everything's back to front because he's a woolly. Never mind. I'm sure you guys can see plainly what things are, so I'm not concerned. Problem is that he's not had his own computer on since Christmas Eve, apart from to do my videos. Doing a Stitch With Me is dead easy. It doesn't have to mess with the orientation of the image at all. But of course, when I'm filming a floss tube, it films the mirror image. I'm definitely going to have to, as the bigger pieces progress, I'm going to have to, you know, sort of lay them out and take photographs of them and insert them because, you know, having to sort of scoot from left to right, you don't kind of get the impression of the whole piece. So especially with such a realm of Middle Earth, I mean, quarter of the way through that now, it's looking good. It's also turning into a popular video on here when I get the realm of Middle Earth out. So back at work today, all change at work. They've had a bit of a team reshuffle. So I have a new manager. So I know him anyway, but I mean, obviously I get to know him as a manager now. As I've known him, he's one of those lovely people who's worked his way up and become a manager. So keeps things fresh, doesn't it? I am anticipating not being as unbusy as we were last week, because I'm pretty sure that everybody will have come back off Christmas break. I know that the vast majority of offices reopened today, the 3rd, although there were some people sort of knocking about last week. There weren't many, so as a result, I think we took about, on one day, about a sixth of the volume of calls that we would normally take. And I don't know why it is, but companies always worry about people taking time off at Christmas. But if there's nobody, if there's no customer to serve, I mean, it's not like that I work in such as a supermarket or something, which are always horrifically busy over Christmas. The organisation I work for has its dead spots, and Christmas is one of them. August bank holidays, or around bank holiday of August, is another. Easter is another. I'm one of those people, I mean, I'm old enough to know a time when national holidays such as Easter, Christmas, August bank holiday and stuff were absolutely sacrosanct. And you might get a local corner shop that would be open for a limited amount of time. But now, I mean, the vast majority of places open the doors again on Boxing Day. Although here in the UK there were, one or two of our sort of major shops and supermarkets that actually put out that they were not going to open on Boxing Day. Excuse me, I'm having another drink. To give their staff the opportunity to enjoy the holiday too, which I think was fantastic. If only more retailers would do that. We have a shopping centre that's about a half-hour walk away from here. And when Andy went on New Year's Eve with his children, because there's like a big toy store and what have you, it was absolutely packed. Yeah, New Year's Day, the shops are closed for one day. And honestly, it's like Armageddon has hit New Year's Eve. I mean, I'm one of those people as well that... Oh, sorry, excuse me. When it comes to Christmas, I prepare in advance. I get my cupboard stores sort of end in November, early December. I get my frozen usually the second week of December, and then I get my fresh food about sort of 4 or 5 days before Christmas, which I think is a decent way to plan it, because then I'm not out there on Christmas Eve buying everything I can before the shop's shut. So I also, for food shopping as well, actually rely on going myself rather than on delivery, because I've seen, for loads of people that delivery's either not happened or it's been cancelled, or when it's come it's had those daft substitutes which nobody wants. So I am one of those shoppers that likes to go out and get my own Christmas food and what have you, and it's not let me down yet. I remember one year when I'd certainly got the big two girls. They were very little. I hadn't got Lauren, and my ex-husband said, "We'll do our Christmas food shop on Christmas Eve." And it was such an experience, such a horrific experience. I'm like, never again. We were up at 5 o'clock. We were at the supermarket at 6. And as we went in, the checkout lines were like between 5 and 10 deep, trolleys deep. And I was like, I'm not doing this again. I'm not doing it again. I think as well as you get older, you kind of learn how to make things easier for yourself as well. Well, I've certainly, done my best not to cut corners, but just make it easier. I'm not quite alone. The cat has come down to join me. She'll be sat watching me later on as I work, staring a hole through me, I'm pretty sure. She does it every time. I think she'll be a bit bewildered today that there's nobody in the house. The night we went to the pantomime, it's rare that this house is empty. And the night that we went to the pantomime, when we came back, she was sat at the door waiting for us. It's the colour I want. I'm still using the baggies for this one. I've not transferred these colours into my master set yet. So I do love these mornings when it's lovely and quiet. I'm thinking that not even the little school around the corner is open today, because I've not heard anything yet, and normally hear the breakfast club children going in. Maybe everybody's still sleeping. Cat's gone. I can't wait for the days to, be significantly longer. I mean, I know we've passed the shortest day now. I like it to be light when I get up. You know, I mean, it's still pretty dark here. I'm not a winter mornings person. I do struggle on a winter morning to get up. One thing I've had a lot as well, just recently, some really bizarre, really odd dreams. I don't know why. It's not like I've been eating cheese before bed or anything like that, which I know can typically give people nightmares. Yeah, I just had one or two really weird dreams. And one of them, you know when you have a dream and it's so bizarre, but you don't want to wake up because you want to know what else happens. One of those. What's some of those? I'm quite liking this bit of envy now. It's a lot more blocky stitching than the bits where the ivy leaves were, because those were quite confetti heavy. Although I'm expecting more confetti as I get to sort of this lady's face and arms and things. And as you can see, I'm kind of working down and I'm taking it from the highest. The next colour that I'll pick will be this one, because it'll be from the highest stitch that's not filled in, because I'm working down. Thinking about a holiday this year for me and the girls. Well, and of course, and Andy. It'll probably be somewhere in the UK, I would have thought. Let me get Andy to have a look with me and see if we can't sort out booking something. Because I've already got my holiday dates this year. Squeaky needle. It's just the angle I think I'm pushing it through the fabric at. I don't know if you've, as I say, if you have watched my finishes and whip parade, but if my plans work out this year, I will have the 10 starts, which will become finishers. But I'm also hoping to get 2 out of my whip pile, those being Pandemic and the Polar Bear and Cub. Even though Polar Bear and Cub is a full coverage, it's the smallest full coverage that I've got. About 24,000 stitches, and I'm nearly halfway there. So if I do finish the fairy before the end of January, what I plan to do is still continue excuse me, with 500 full coverage a day, but rotate, do 500 on either, you know, this one or the Night Cafe or the Amy Stewart piece, and then put the remainder of the time in on Polar Bear and Cub and Pandemic until I get them finished. And then the next month, if they're not finished, I'll do the same. But if they are finished, you know, when they do come to a finish, I think my next one, two, three, four, five, yeah, there. My next full coverage piece will be Maui Princess, I think, because it's nearly halfway through. So yeah, I mean, I brought 9 whips through, which is a lot for me. So I do want to get that number down. So then going into 2024, in an ideal world, in terms of big projects, I really only want to take, if I can, potentially 4, which would be Night Cafe, Envy, Realm of Middle Earth, and the Amy Stewart piece. So that means 5, so Christmas Window, Pandemic, Polar Bear and Cub, Maui Princess, and the other one, which I've... Let me think, what's the other one? Christmas Window, Pandemic, Polar Bear and Cub, Maui Princess. What am I missing? No, I've got that wrong, haven't I? Or have I? Hang on, let me have a look. I've got a list of whips here, so... Oh, Lakeside Village, that's the other one. I want to see if I can't get some more work on that one as well. Because, shamefully, as you've seen on my whip parade, I've put in 1 session so far, which is not enough. So I'd like to get, obviously, Pandemic and the Polar Bear and Cub cleared, but then Christmas Window, Lakeside Village, and Maui Princess are also on my hit list. Maui Princess being the top one of those. if that makes sense. I doubt very much if I'll get them all finished. There are only so many hours in a day. But you know, I'm going to have a blooming good go and reduce the amount that's left on these pieces when I go into 20. I mean, we're already talking about 2024. I mean, what's wrong with this picture? 3rd of January. I've still obviously got plenty of starts, so the more finishes I can clear, the more starts I can do next year. And the more starts I can do, the more stitching I can do, the more videos I can do. I have a few planned ones coming up. I certainly want to do an unboxing of that Gecko Rouge kit that I got for Christmas. And as I said as well, the flower fairy one, I might film a Stitch With Me, not a Stitch With Me, Stitch With Me, an alternative, and have it sort of in the bank, even though it might be finished by the time it comes out. I just love this hobby. If I could do it full time, I would. The channel doesn't earn me enough money for it to be a full-time occupation. I'm not clever enough to design. Thought I might have a bash at it, but you know, I've got a daughter who's an artist, and so I've got plenty of artwork knocking about, but doing a website and things is definitely beyond me. I'm not that clever. And to have one built professionally, I'm looking at, you know, thick end of £2,000. Well, that's where I've been quoted anyway. I didn't really sort of want to go down the Etsy route because they take half of what you earn. So yeah, I'm not that clever to be designing my own. I would love to this to have been a full-time hobby and me be able to do that, but it's just not happened. I mean, my ideal would be to be somewhere with a high sort of traffic area, if you like, a high passing trade, and have like a craft shop, needlework, knitting, sewing, you know, have classes and stuff, but can't see me ever getting that off the ground either. I just carry on making videos for you guys, I think. And I am almost, well, I'm at 55 minutes now, so 5 more minutes and I will be signing off because I gotta get ready for work. Or rather, as I call it, I've got to get ready to count down to when I can stitch again, because that's what I do. I go on, log in, and think, how many hours to go? Ooh, 3 hours, and then I can do an hour stitching on my lunch. I'm one of those people that would forego food for stitching. I really would, but that belies my appearance because I have gained some weight over 2022, which I really didn't want. I wanted to lose some. But that's down in 2023. We've got to do something. There's a slimming club around the corner. I might go and join it. And certainly after all the Christmas excess. Although having said that, I'm not a big sort of sweet things eater. I will be eating my Christmas chocolate in March. Whereas Andy, I buy him a gift bag and fill it up with chocolate every year. And he's more than halfway through it. So he's definitely got a sweet tooth. Yes, I'll be I'm having an Easter egg before I finish my Christmas chocolate, I'm pretty sure. There's some of them in the shops already. I mean, how does that work out? Like Boxing Day, shops are already putting out Easter eggs. Dear oh dear. Bit quick, aren't they? I'm guessing for them it's all about the revenue. Getting as much as they can. Just looked out the back of me and it's lighting up here now properly, but it's grey, so it's a good job it's one of these and not a floss tube, because I would have to have, just thrown light at it and have been washed out, and the colours would have looked terrible on the stitching with electric, with light that's not designed for filming. Probably done a couple of 100 stitches. I'll have a look in a sec when I mark these off. So about done for the morning. Ow! Maybe that's something I should have got for Christmas, a thimble. My underneath thumb that gets it. Well, that's it, thank you. Right, let's have a little tot up and see how many stitches we've managed to get in this morning. So I've done 58 and I've now done 268, so 210 stitches. It's not bad in an hour. No, I don't want to go close to it, I want to come out. Thank you. So, oh, excuse me. Right, so I will carry on doing this and until I get to my 500 for the day. But in 20 minutes' time, I have to log into work. But for now, thank you very much indeed for watching, guys. Take care. Happy New Year. And I will see you later this week for a Stitch With Me, which will be the Leonid Afremov Night Cafe Supersize Max Colour. But other than that, I will see you on the next one. So bye-bye for now.